Text number 3. Somebody read text number 3.
Translation. Seeing such a misleading creation as a sinful task, Brahma did not feel much pleasure in his activity, and therefore he purified himself by meditation on the personality of Godhead. Then he began another term of creation. Purport by Divine Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Although he created different influences of nescience, our Lord Brahma was not satisfied in performing such a thankless task. But he had to do it because most of the conditioned souls wanted it to be so. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 15.15 that he is present in everyone's heart and is helping everyone to either remember or forget. The question may be raised why the Lord, who is all merciful, helps one to remember and another to forget. Actually, his mercy is not exhibited in partiality towards one and enmity towards another. The living entity, as part and parcel of the Lord, is partially independent because he partially possesses all the qualities of the Lord. Anyone who has some independence may sometimes misuse it due to ignorance. When the living entity prefers to misuse his independence and glide down towards nescience, the all merciful Lord first of all tries to protect him from the trap. But when the living entity persists in gliding down to hell, the Lord helps him to forget his real position. The Lord helps the falling living entity glide. Roger, you have to.
Actually, what happened is, so there's no power, and also this battery is very low of my laptop. So I'm not able to scroll down and make close also. So somebody has a Vaibhava, then they can read from there.
Okay, I mean, I can open the Veda based story.
Okay. Maybe in 2-3 minutes I will have to join from my mobile.
Guruji, shall I share the screen?
If you can say the screen, that's better.
Almost all the conditioned souls who are rotting in the material world are misusing their independence, and therefore 5 kinds of nescience are imposed upon them. As an obedient servitor of the Lord, Brahma creates all these as a matter of necessity, but he is not happy in doing so, because a devotee of the Lord naturally does not like to see anyone falling down from his real position. Persons do not care for the part of realization get full facilities from the Lord for executing their proclivities to the fullest extent, and Brahma helps in that procedure without fail.
So we find that as we were discussing yesterday, that although we can blame Brahma, Maya, or different entities for our sufferings, but who has embraced those coverings? So we have embraced those coverings because we wanted to enjoy this world. So as we are discussing the example of cinema hall yesterday, that it is the person who purchases the ticket, and then slowly all different types of coverings of Maya come in picture. So similarly, we are the one who have chosen to accept all these 5 points of nescience, all these 5 coverings created by Brahma. So rather, if we see whether it's Maya, Brahma, demigods, whoever, they just assist us in fulfilling all our desires. So then what is Maya? The actual Maya is that we have an understanding or misunderstanding that we can enjoy independent of Krishna. So that is actual Maya. All other things are just facilitating to help us forget Krishna. So we find same Maya, it helps a living entity to forget Krishna if he wants to forget. And same Maya becomes Radharani, who facilitates us to come closer to Krishna. So that is why in one of the Tantra Shastras, Mother Durga speaks speaks to one of her, I won't say bhakta as such, because demigods don't have bhakta as such, but a worshipper. She says, Yam Yam Ya Namna Namne Durgaham, Good Good Vaidayaham, Yad Vaibhava Mahalakshmi Radha Nitya Paradvaya. So my name is Durga, and I'm supposed to bound all these people in this fort of Durga, this material world. But Yad Vaibhava Mahalakshmi, but that Mahalakshmi and Srimati Radharani, Radha Nitya Paradvaya. So Radharani and Lakshmi we are all non-different. So how they are different is in the functionalities. So when somebody worships Krishna with love, then same energy is Radharani. When somebody wants to worship the Supreme Lord with on reverence, same energy is Mahalakshmi. And when somebody wants to forget Krishna, then same energy becomes Durga. So it's the same energy, and all these energies, they facilitate our desires. If you want to come closer to Krishna, these energies should facilitate. And if you want to enjoy this world, then also they facilitate. So ultimately, entire creation is made just to fulfill our desires. So its entire creation is made just to fulfill our desires. That's all. Spiritual world is also made for that purpose, and mental world is also made for that purpose. Yes, we can go to next purport, next verse. So maybe I can just read the translation also. We can just read the translation and the purport. This one also.
Hare Krishna. Mataji, go ahead.
Yes, Mataji can read.
Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Translation. In the beginning, Brahma created 4 great sages named Sanaka, Sananda, Sanatana, and Sanat Kumara. All of them were unwilling to adopt materialistic activities because they were highly elevated due to their moving upwards. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Although Brahma created the principles of neuroscience as a matter of necessity for those living entities who were destined to ignorance by the will of the Lord, he was not satisfied in performing such a thankless task. He therefore created 4 principles of knowledge, Sankhya, or empirical philosophy for the analytical study of material conditions, yoga or mysticism for liberation of the pure soul from material bondage, vairagya, the acceptance of complete detachment from material enjoyment in life to elevate oneself to the highest spiritual understanding, and tapas, or the various kinds of voluntary austerities performed for spiritual perfection. Brahma created the 4 great sages, Sanaka, Sananda, Sanatana, and Sanat, to entrust them with these 4 principles of spiritual advancement, and they inaugurated their own spiritual party or sampradaya, known as the Kumara Sampradaya, or later on as the Nimbarka Sampradaya, for the advancement of bhakti. All of these great sages became great devotees, for without devotional service to the personality of Godhead, one cannot achieve success in any activity of spiritual value.
So Brahmaji created these 4 Kumaras, and Prabhupada writes that they are in charges for Sankhya, Yoga, Vairagya, and Tapasya. Because all these 4 are different wings of knowledge. So they are ultimately meant for understanding that we are not body, we are soul. So they were created for that purpose. So although they were in charges of, practically speaking, Gyan Yoga in one sense, Sankhya is directly Gyan Yoga, and Yoga also, this is Ashtanga Yoga, it's not Yoga Misra Bhakti. So it also ultimately aims at attaining Brahman. And same thing is true with Tapasya and Vairagya also. But eventually, they also turn out to be great devotees of the Lord. although they are personification of these four particular principles. So
Prabhuji,
now they were not willing to get married, but they wanted to become domestic brahmacharis. You have a question?
no, sorry, Vijay, later I can ask. I thought you were finished, so later I can ask. Sorry.
Yeah. Laptop is gone now, and I'm using a mobile now. Yes. You can ask me now. Yes, brother, your question.
Vijay, just wanted to understand the difference between Brahmavadis and Mayavadis here, because I got to know that the four Kumaras are known as Brahmavadis.
So Brahmavadi says, I think we had discussed this before. Okay. When we discussed this verse, Mogasa, Mog Karmano, Mog Garmajista, Rakshasam Asram Cheva, Prakriti Mohinim Sita. So in that purport, this Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, he speaks, who is Mayavadi? Mayavadi means person who thinks that name, form, quality, pastimes of Krishna are Maya. They may be anyone. They may be anyone. They may be practicing devotion service also. So somebody who is practicing devotion service, for him also, he will not get Vaikuntha, he will get a metal body if he's offensive. And what is offensive? Offense? He thinks that body of Krishna is made up of metal. So then it's called Moga Asa. Moga Karmano refers to Karmakandis. So there are many Karmakandis in India who follow Sankaracharya. So like we will be finding, there are so many people who blame ISKCON devotees saying that they don't celebrate Janmashtami, Ekadasi on the right day. And even in the inauguration of Ram Janmabhoomi, there was a great controversy between Sankaracharya and the Ramanandi Sampradaya. So the whole controversy was that according to Vedic culture, the day starts on, or the day is called a particular day depending on what is the Muhurta at the time of Brahma Muhurta. So at Brahma Muhurta, if it is Ekadasi, then the whole day is called Ekadasi. If at Brahma Muhurta, if it is Dwadasi, the whole day is called Dwadasi. But Sankaracharya Vidhi is 12 o'clock and midnight. So this is not Vedic. That's not Vedic. So we follow Vedic method. We don't follow Sankaracharya method. So these people also, they may be Karmakandi and they think name, form, qualities of pastimes of Krishna are Maya. Many Panchopasak are Karmakandis actually. They are not even Brahmavadis. And the third one is called Moga Gyan. Moga Gyan means the practice or cultivation of Gyan also becomes useless. Now, who are these people? They are actually Brahmavadis who turn into Mayavadis. So Mayavadi is simply a person who thinks name, form, qualities, pastimes of Krishna are Maya. Whereas Brahmavadi may be having a conception that, oh, Krishna is spiritual, but the conception of the personality of God is lower and the conception of his impersonalism is higher. So they don't say that the conception of personalism is material. They say it is also right, but it is a lower understanding and the higher understanding that everything is Brahman. So such people may read Vishnu Puran and they start quoting the episode where Narada asks Mahavishnu, what are you meditating at? And Mahavishnu said that I am meditating on Parabrahma. Now this Parabrahma actually refers to Krishna. Param Brahman, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Param Bhavan. So only devotees can understand that, Parabrahman. But what Mayavadi say, oh, even Vishnu is saying that he's meditating on Brahman, that impersonal effulgence. So that is the difference. So I hope that's clear.
Yes, Prabhuji. Clear now. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
In Bhagavad Gita, Lord says, Brahmabhuta Prasannatma Nashuchiti Nakangshiti. That is for Brahmavadis, right, Prabhuji?
Actually, that's not just Brahmavadis. That's like now suddenly, actually, Krishna is going through yoga ladder. Krishna is going through yoga ladder. So he talks about Brahmavadis in this verse. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatmana Sotine Kanchati. But then what he says, Sama Sarvesu Videshu Mad Bhakti Lamite Param.
At the
So
end, he
there,
will come to the
huh?
platform of bhakti. Means at the end, so Bahunam Janmanamante, that is also for Brahmavadi only. No? At the end, he will realize that Vasudeva has Sarvamiti. That is for Brahmavadi, not for Mayavadi.
See, Bahunam Janmanamante is talking about Gyan Misra Bhakta. It's not just Brahmavadi.
So
So
this
it's for a
Brahmavadi,
Gyan.
okay, Brahmavadis are the one who believe in the Nirakara form of Lord.
Yeah. So Brahmavadis are those. I'll talk about 4 types of Brahmavadis. So just give me a minute. I'll put my earphones. Just put whatever earphones. इसका वो डाल ये बोलो
Rajiv, we cannot hear you if you're speaking.
You cannot hear me.
Yes, now I can hear you.
Now am I audible?
Yes,
Yes.
Guruji. Yes.
Okay. So Brahmavadis. So when we were talking about this verse, na Brahma Bahunam Janmanamante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate Vasudev Sarvamati Samatma Sudhava. So that was referring to Jnan Misra Bhaktas. So what is the difference between Jnan Misra Bhaktas and Suddha Bhaktas and Brahmavadis? Misra Bhaktas and Suddha Bhaktas have one single goal, that is achieving service to personality of Godhead. But if they have great interest in Sankhya Yoga, then they are called Jnana Misra Bhaktas. They spend a lot of time in contemplating that we are not bodies, we are souls. They spend a lot of time in meditating on dead bodies to understand that how this world is futile. And that particular endeavor covers their or takes out away their time of surrounding people. But their goal is fixed. Their goal is we want to get service of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So then such people may take a lot of time to understand that we were wasting time just meditating on dead bodies to understand. Don't apply any oil, all the hairs get burnt in the fire of crematorium within seconds. No need to put so many creams of Fair and Handsome and Fair and Lovely. No, this whole skin gets burnt very quickly. No need to go to gym and make so many muscles because all the muscles get burnt so easily in the fire. So Gyanis, they do that. And Gyan means Bhaktas may also do that. So rather than attending morning program, they may be found in crematorium meditating on the dead bodies. So such people, after a long time, they understand that we should be attending morning program in temple rather than going to crematorium. So that may take many lifetimes. Bahunam Janmanamante. But for people who are offensive, thinking that Krishna is Maya, they will never get it. And similarly, even if they are Brahmavadis, but they don't have a Vaishnava Guru. So for them also, they may appreciate Supreme Lord, but ultimately they want to merge in Brahman. Rather in 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, among the last verse, there is a verse called Jara Marana Mokshaya. So there it refers to a, I won't say devotee, a person who performs only devotional service to get Brahman. And among all the people endeavoring for Brahman, he is the fastest one. He is the fastest one among all the people. So therefore this is different. But when Krishna is talking about Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma, he is actually referring to the Brahmavadis. And then among the Brahmavadis, Krishna says is, I won't say it's one, it has two meanings. One meaning is that among them, those who are very fortunate, like Sukadeva Goswami and Chatuspa Maharaj, they will eventually become devotees. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma Nasotini Kadil Sama Sarvisu Bhutesu Mad Bhakti Lavate Param. This has one meaning. Another meaning is that even those who are Brahmavadis, when they enter in Brahman, what goes with them is only bhakti, not gyan. So in 11.19.1, verse number 11.19.1, Krishna says that these jnanis have to give up gyan in order to enter Brahman. So what happens is, there are four types of jnanis. I'm going too much technical. Devotees may ask questions if they don't understand. So there are four types of jnanis. First type of jnani is offensive. So this person being offensive, his desire to get Brahman by practice of Gyan is like beating the empty husk. So what was that verse? Somebody remember the beating the empty husk?
Bombaji's prayers, Prabhuji, I think third or fourth.
Brahman's prayer.
Yeah.
Kusav Ghati Nam is the last word. Kusav Ghati Nam is the last word.
I think fourth one.
Fourth one? Okay. So anyway, Jnane Prayas of the person, not this one. Nanat Sthas Yathastul Kusav Ghati Nam for the last time. So anyway, so this verse talks about those jnanis who want to get Brahman without practice of bhakti. So for them, Brahmaji says, all their endeavors are like beating the empty husk. If you beat the empty husk, you don't get any grains. Only thing you get is sweat. Sweat because of beating the husk. So they're one type of jnanis. Second type of jnanis are those.
4, 14, 4.
What is the beginning of verse?
10, 14, 4. 10, 14, 4.
You can tell the first line of the verse.
Yeah, just tell me. Yeah, Shreya Sritim Bhaktim Yasate Vibho.
Shreya Sritim Bhaktite Vibho Klasanti Ye Kevala Bodha Labhate Esamaso Klesala Eve Sissate Nanat Yatatule Kusava Bhatinam. So this verse talks about those jnanis. That those people who practice only Gyan without Bhakti, so for them trying to get Brahman is useless endeavor, like beating an empty husk. So this first type. Second type are those who know, unless until we practice Bhakti, we will not get Brahman. So these people, they practice Brahman, so they practice Gyan, at the same time they practice Bhakti, and because of the practice of Bhakti, they eventually get Brahman. But they are also called unfortunate because they leave the nectar of Bhakti, which is like grape juice, and accept the enjoyment of Brahman, which is like neem juice. So that is how these are also not very intelligent people. Third type of Jnani, you are even the worse. Those who think name, form, qualities, pastimes of Krishna are Maya. So they are greatly offensive and they will be taken away by Maya Devi. Their intelligence will be taken away, stolen away by Maya Devi. Yeah. Then four type of people are like Sukhdev Goswami and Charas Kumaras. Those who are practicing Dhyan, but eventually they become devotees of the Lord. Eventually they become devotees of the Lord. So these people are considered the best. So they have evolved from Jnani to Bhaktas. Other three are not considered like very intelligent. And these two, those who think that now Lord's form is Maya are worse, those who think only by practicing Jnana will get perfection are also not good. They are heavily condemned. So there are four types of. So this is all the another meaning of when we say Mad Bhakti Labte Param means even the Jnanis while entering Brahman can take only Bhakti with them, not Jnana itself. So coming back to this verse. That means they may be learning Sankhya Yoga, meditating on dead bodies, eating only vegetables, getting half dip in Gangotri and Yamunotri and lot of tapasya. At the same time, they will also chant Hare Krishna. Because they know unless until we chant Hare Krishna, we will not get perfection of life. So such people chant Hare Krishna also and they do other activities of Gyan also. So they do both the things. So what happens for them? So for these people, while giving up this world, they have to forget Gyan also. While giving others, they have to give up that Gyan also. Gyan means I am not this body. I am not this body. If you meditate on that I am not this body while leaving this body, you again get another body. Because meditation is on the body. So that's why they have to give up Gyan conception also, but they can be chanting Hare Krishna while entering in Brahman. That's why Krishna said, Mad Bhaktir Labate Param. So ultimately, even when they enter in Brahman, what goes with them? Bhakti. Gyan doesn't go with them. So in spiritual world, whether it is Brahman effulgence, Vaikuntha planets, planet of the Paramatma, or Golok Vrindavan, there is no place for Karma, Jnana and Yoga. The only thing which is available in all these places is Bhakti. You can take Bhakti with you, but you can take other conceptions. So the work of Jnana for a sadhaka of Jnana process is like fire. So wood is considered like avidya and fire is considered like vidya. So fire continues till the wood continues. Similarly, vidya is useful till avidya is destroyed. So till avidya, what is avidya? I am this body. What is vidya? I am not this body. So I am not this body is required till the conception is I am this body. But after one is freed from conception that I am this body, it is like after the wood is consumed by fire, fire is extinguished. It becomes useless. Similarly, after one realizes that I am not this body, bodily conception is destroyed, and then I am not this body, body becomes useless. But despite that, if you remember that I am not this body, consciousness is on the body, and we will get a body. That is why while entering in Brahman, one has to forget and give up Jnana also. So in 11.19.1, Krishna says, Jnanam cha mai manase, sannase. One has to give up Jnana also. So this is another meaning of this verse. So big answer. So Bhai Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Prabhuji, you told 4 types of jnanis. First 2 are right. First one is
No. Only one is Mayavadi, who
first.
thinks that name, form, quality, pastimes are of Krishna or Maya.
Oh, can you please repeat a little bit slowly so that we can note down?
And the second and the third, all are Nirakarvadis. Second, third, and fourth.
Yes, second, third, and Nirakarvadis, yes.
Okay, then who is getting Sayajyoti, Prabhuji? out of these?
Second and third. Second and third.
Are getting Sahajya Mukti.
You
And
know,
the
second,
fourth,
third. The only ones who is getting Sahajya Mukti, only one, not in the second, third, fourth. The one who is practicing bhakti along with Jnana process is getting Sahajya Mukti.
but Bhakti is there, again he will come, Bahunam Janmanam Ante. He will come to Vasudeva Sarvametis. So if he gets Sahajya Mukti, how he will come? Means he will.
No. See, Bahunam Janmanamante, person will not get Sahajya Mukti, he'll get Vaikuntha.
He will get Vaikuntha, okay.
That particular person is a karma Gyan Misra Bhakta. He's a Bhakta, he's not a Gyani.
Oh, he is not in this list.
Yes, he's not in this list.
Okay. And but why Shukamuni is there in this fourth? You said Jnanis. The fourth one is Shukamuni and Chaturkumaras are there in the fourth. This one you said.
Sukadeva Goswami.
Yes, they are bhaktas also.
Actually, it's not that they were Gyan Misra Bhaktas and then they became devotees. They were first class Gyanis and they became first class devotees. So it is like that. So they were like first, initially they had no conception of I want to get Krishna, I want to get Vaikuntha. Rather, they were fully Brahman realized. But then when they became attracted by the features of the Lord, like Sukadeva Goswami became attracted by 2 verses of Bhagavatam by hearing compassion and beauty of Krishna. And Chatuskumaras became attracted initially by the attitude of Jai Vijay, who begged forgiveness from them. And later on, they smelled the tulsi leaves from the lotus feet of the Lord. So they were Gyanis and then they became devotees.
Sorry, one small question. If Chaturkumars were Nirakaravadas, then why they came to have a darshan of Lord Vishnu, the Sakara Rupa?
Okay. It was like they were strolling around. Strolling around means, I am Brahman realized, I have nothing to do, but I have to do something. So let me just roam around. So they were roaming around and they said, oh, let us meet Lord Narayan also. It's not that they were meeting Narayan because they had appreciation for Narayan. They were not going to meet Narayan because they had a desire to serve Narayan. None of these were there. So they were just strolling around. No, like small children, small children have no purpose. I still remember when we would go for marriages, all of us would look as if we were working the hardest. Roaming here, roaming there, going up, going down. But productivity zero. So similarly for them also, they were just going around here and there. And it is Lord who arranged Chatuskumaras who come there so that Lord can fulfill the desire of Jai Vijay to fight with Krishna. Fight with Lord Narayan. Now, I won't use those words. They look a little strong. But actually speaking, Vishnu Chakravarti Vak Thakur speaks very strong words. He says, like sometimes parents may take a children to a zoo to show him animals. Oh, see, this is a lion, this is an elephant, this is that. Similarly, Lord wanted to show who is a Jnani to all the Vaikuntavasis. And that's why he asked Chatuskumaras. Now, this would be very offensive. We can just, in our inner circle, discuss these things, being Gaudiya Vaishnavas. But Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur speaks a very strong analogy. So what he says is that it's Lord who arranged and who created that desire within the heart of Chatuskumaras to come there, so that all Vaikuntavasis can see, oh, these people are also called Jnanis. And the reason why these 4 Chatuskumaras were forbidden from meeting Lord Narayan, Chakravarti Pad says the reason was that they knew that these people are Jnanis and they're not qualified to meet the Lord. That's why they stopped them. Although externally, sometimes in fun we say, oh, they were like naked children and why should children go and enter in some serious place? It is not like that. It's just for fun. So the reality was that they knew that they are Jnanis and they're not qualified to meet the Lord. So it's like that.
Thank you.
So I
Thank you.
hope I'm able to answer your question.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Okay. Kirtita Vallavi Mataji. Now it's clear 4 types of Gyanis. 4 types of
Yes.
Gyanis.
Prabhuji, this the Brahman realized the fourth one, but the second and third is not realized.
See, I don't remember 1, 2, 3, 4 what you have written. I'll just tell. Those who think name, form, qualities, pastimes of Lord are Maya, they're extremely offensive. They may even go to lower species also, quite possible. But for sure, they will get a body made of flesh and bones. Because they are thinking Lord's body is Maya, they also get body of Maya. So that is their punishment. So this is the first one. Second one is those who think that I will achieve bhakti, so I will achieve Brahman without accepting bhakti. So they are also offensive at the lotus feet of Bhakti Devi, and they don't get Brahman. Nan nam yathastul kusava bhati nam. Sreya siddham bhakti sodasite. This verse applies for them. They also don't get. Who gets? Those who practice bhakti along with Gyan. And to the degree bhakti is more, faster is their achievement of Brahman. Now, for example, Jara Marana Moksha, this verse is there, 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. They get Brahman very quickly, maybe just in one lifetime, because they're practicing only bhakti. So they will get Brahman very quickly. And the fourth one become devotee, so they will anyway get Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan, everyone. Because when you get Bhagavan, we automatically get Brahman. When you get a person, automatically we get his effulgence. So it's like devotees get everything. So I hope that's clear.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Kirtida Vaibhava Mataji.
Related to this topic, I've sent you an extract from Vaibhava. If you can, whenever after this class you have time to see, because what you're saying and what is written in that, I need to find a meeting point. That's one. Second, my question was in the fourth shloka, the reference to yoga. Isn't mysticism related to the 8 mysticism, 8 mystic? You said Ashtanga yoga.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it's Ashtasiddhi.
Yeah, actually, Ashtanga Yoga is just a process. But now the process itself is not, doesn't define the destination. It's the intention behind the process also which define the destination. Like for example, those who are Patanjali followers, both in detail of practice as well as in conception, they become worse than Mayavadis. They meditate on Paramatma within the heart and start thinking, I am that Paramatma. So then such people, they become worse than Mayavadis and they get the same destination like Mayavadis. Now, those who are people who meditate on Brahman, meditate on Paramatma, but later on shift their attention to Brahman. So after getting purified by practicing their meditation on Paramatma, then they follow this chakra yoga, generating 6 chakras. And after getting, elevating their soul, they break the head through Brahmarandra and they enter in desired destination. Now this desired destination may be Brahman also. So then they become Brahmavadis. But those who want to get Paramatma or Bhagavan, they may go get them also. So Ashtanga Yoga is just a process. And now some people may be worse than that. We are talking about Siddhis. Some people just want to practice Ashtanga Yoga for getting one of the 8 Siddhis. They are like Karma Kandis.
Okay, because I was thinking yoga or mysticism for liberation. I thought it was the Ashtasiddhi because in 11th canto, Lord is explaining to Uddhava that these Ashtasiddhis are from the spiritual world and the secondary siddhis, they're material. Okay. So my
No. Actually,
understanding was
when Krishna is talking about Ashtasiddhis, it's not spiritual and material. They're primary and secondary.
okay.
In Uddhava, they're primary and secondary. So 8 siddhis are like the primary ones. They are considered major ones. Anima, Lagima, Prapti, etc. They are like considered primary achievements for those who want to get yoga siddhis. Now, secondary achievements are easily available. Another 10 ones. So then they're secondary siddhis. But all of them are material only. And that is why Rishabdev rejected all the siddhis. All these siddhis came praying to Rishabdev, I want to, please accept me. But all Rishabdev said, no, I'm not interested. Because it agitates the mind of a devotee, and devotees can't concentrate on Krishna.
All right, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Okay. So concisely speaking, there are 3 types of practitioners. One is called Gunabhuta Bhaktas. For them, devotion is secondary, getting Brahman is primary, or getting pleasures of heaven is primary. So they're called Gunabhuta Bhaktas. They're not Bhaktas. They don't get Supreme Lord. Second type of devotees are called Misra Bhaktas or mixed devotees. They are called sometimes Pradhani Bhut Bhaktas. Pradhani Bhut Bhaktas means Bhakti is primary, Pradhan, and Karma, Gyan, Yoga are secondary. So then these people also, they get, I would say, Supreme Lord, but quite late. Gyan में सिर्फ भक्ता take lot of lifetimes. Bahunam jamanamante gyanvan mam prapadyate. So they also get Vasudeva, but after many, many lifetimes. Whether there is some misra. But those who are Keval Bhaktas or Suddha Bhaktas, the third category, they get Lord very quickly. For them, Lord says, Bhavami nacharat pata maya vaishit chetsam. I long for their association, so I quickly deliver them from the ocean of birth and death, or cycle of birth and death. So their practice of bhakti is very fast, extremely fast. Okay. If you only what you were telling about purport, I couldn't understand. You were only talking about purport, no? Prabhupada's purport.
Yes, Prabhuji, about the yoga, when you were telling the 4 types.
Acha. So that is given in Chakravarti purports. 4 types of Gyanis.
Okay. Prabhuji, I've sent you an extract from the Veda base about the impersonal Brahman, how it is explained. If you can relate it to the 4 type of Gyanis, which you told, but they're mostly talking about Advaitavadis. So whenever you have time after the class, then I'll share it with the group also.
Okay. So it will take time to read because these technical things take time.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay, we can move ahead to the next verse.
Hare Krishna. Text 5, translation. Brahma spoke to his sons after generating them. My dear sons, he said, now generate progeny. But due to their being attached to Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they aimed at liberation and therefore they expressed their unwillingness. To read the purport, Brahma?
You can read a purport also.
Okay, purport. The 4 sons of Brahma, the Kumaras, declined to become family men even on the request of their great father Brahma. Those who are serious about gaining release from material bondage should not be entangled in the false relationship of family bondage. People may ask how the Kumaras could refuse the orders of Brahma, who was their father and above all the creator of the universe. The reply is that one who is Vasudeva Parayana or seriously engaged in the devotional service of the personate Godhead, Vasudeva, need not care for any other obligation. It is enjoined in the Bhagavatam 11.5.41. Devrishi bhutapta nirnam pidurnam na kinkaro nayam rini charajan sarvat Atmana ya saranam saranyam gado mugundam paritriya kartam. Anyone who has completely given up all worldly relationships and has taken absolute shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, who gives us salvation and who alone is fit to be taken shelter of, is no longer a debtor or servant of anyone, including the demigods, forefathers, sages, other living entities, relatives, and members of human society. Thus, there was nothing wrong in the acts of the Kumaras when they refused their great father's request that they become family men. Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada writes this purport to say that how Chatuskumaras, their rejection of their father's request is not considered sinful. Generally, denying the orders of a superior, that's considered sinful. But when the request is rejected with a superior goal, for a superior goal, then such a rejection is not condemned. So that's why action in itself is not condemned. The reason or the knowledge behind the action is very important. Like you find Yadu also. Yadu? Yadu. So Jayati Maharaj had 6 sons. Eldest was Yadu and the smallest was Puru. So when Jayati Maharaj was cursed by his father, not father, father-in-law, Sukracharya, that you become old. So then he requested Sukracharya to remove the curse. And then Sukracharya said, you can exchange your old age with one of the sons. So among the 6 sons, 5 of them rejected. So eldest was Yadu, other 4 rejected, and it is Puru who accepted. And as a result of that, Jayati Maharaj told to his youngest son Puru that your descendants will become emperors, not the sons of other brothers. So that's why Krishna never became emperor. Pandavas became emperor, they are called Pauravas. So Krishna didn't accept it. But then Krishna himself came in the dynasty of Yadu. He didn't come in the dynasty of Kuru. The reason was Yadu rejected, unlike other 4 brothers, because he knew if I accept the old age of my father, then 2 things will happen. First is, I will not get enough detachment, which will come by getting a married life. If I enter married life, then I'll understand the music of the world and then I can renounce very quickly. So, although different devotees may have different opinions, but then even Shastrically, they can quote from Shastras, but his intent was to worship Krishna. So the intent was spiritual. Second reason was because he knew Krishna is going to come and appear in this my dynasty. So if I accept the old age, then begetting children will be delayed. If begetting children will be delayed, Krishna's appearance will be delayed. So he wanted Lord to come very quickly in this world. That's why he rejected the old age. So that is why this rejection by Yadu is celebrated, whereas by other 4 brothers is condemned like anything. Because other 4 brothers condemned with because they thought if we accept old age, we can't enjoy this world. So that's why rejection of an order for the purpose of serving Krishna is glorified, and for the purpose of sense gratification is condemned. So that is what. So those who take shelter of Krishna and they reject any of the higher orders for the purpose of serving Krishna, such rejections are welcome. Like we'll find many people. This one of the famous incidences which come in history of Bhakti movement. That is Mirabai, when she wrote a letter to Tulsidas, saying that all my family members are tormenting like me, like anything, and they are not allowing me to practice Krishna consciousness. What should I do? So Tulsidas wrote a beautiful reply. He said, He didn't said yes or no. He said Prahlad rejected his father for worshipping the Lord. Bharat Maharaj rejected his mother for worshipping the Lord. Bali Maharaj rejected his guru for worshipping the Lord. Vibhishan rejected his brother, elder brother, for worshipping the Lord. Now you can understand what you should do. And that was the end. And that is the time when Mirabai left everything and just roamed in the streets along with sadhus, glorifying Krishna. So those who have taken the shelter of Krishna, for them there are no obligations.
Prabhuji, I have a question. I'm sorry because you brought up Mirabai, so I need clarification. So is Mirabai considered Vaishnava because like we don't know who her guru was?
No. Her guru is very clear. She was initiated by Ramananda in Sri Sampradaya. In Sri Sampradaya, there is a personality called Ramananda. His followers are called Ramanandis now. So Ramananda, she was a disciple of Ramananda. And we can't even imagine to think whether she is not a devotee. Because she entered in the body of Dwarkadhish. That means her body was not material body. It was a spiritual body. So Mirabai is like...
Thank you.
So she was initiated in Sri Sampradaya. Payo ji maine Ram ratan dhan payo. So she got initiated Ram Nam, but she is worshipper of Krishna. So she was glorified Krishna. So like we have Andal Alwar in South India, she entered in the body of Ranganath. Similarly, Mirabai also entered in the body of Dwarkadhish. So they're like very extraordinary devotees, not just devotees. Okay, so now, now I can share my screen. I got my electricity back.
Sure.
You have to make me host.
Okay, Vijay. Done, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Another end of this verse. Let me be a little cautious about it. Another end of this verse is not that we reject all the Vedic processes, seeing their rationale. The reason is that we also have to think about Lok Vichar. Lok Vichar means what will people think? So we find Prabhupada also giving different instructions to different devotees. Those who were Indian disciples, Prabhupada would say that no, you can do the Shraddha ceremony. But for Western devotees, he would say you are not required. That Prabhupada said not required for Western devotees. And from Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj. So I met him way back in 2005. He would come in IIT and give us classes in my initial days of Krishna consciousness. Dr. T.D. Singh, Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj. So he told that Prabhupada told him that if some family members depart, you can do Shraddha ceremony. So we have to see Lok Vichar also. So not that if devotees don't do, they'll go to hell or something like that. The reason is that if you don't do, two effects will be there. One is people will criticize devotees. All these ISKCON fellows now they think they are very great. Or other organizations may think we are also very great. So if ISKCON devotees are not doing these Vedic ceremonies, we won't also do. So this is the first effect which happens. Second effect which happens is that in case somebody is from a traditional family where one is following a Vedic culture down the line. So then if in the future, any of the people in the generation don't happen to do that, so for devotees, okay, fine, 14 generation will be delivered, 21 generations. But I'm talking about cousins and here and there and far away relations. If they don't do that, and they don't become devotees also. So they will lose all the chances for purification. So that's why when we take a practical action, generally it should be consultation with senior devotees. Senior devotees means especially I'm talking about those devotees who are aware of our culture and who are our mentor, those who are guiding us day to day. So then they know our background, they know the cultural things. So some devotees may do it, not do it, although it is not required for devotees. It's not required. Anybody becomes a devotee, is not a debtor to anyone, and for him, he can just happily worship Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, sorry. That is for great devotees, right, Prabhuji? This Devarshi Bhuta, Pranam, Pranam, Pitranam. That is not for the sadhana, means sadhakas.
Now, see, actually, I would say it's like more of a mood. Mood in the sense, Krishna also speaks another verse in 11th canto. Tavat karmani kurvita na nirvita yavita mat katha sravanadava sraddhaya varna jayata. So those who have full faith that by Sravanam and Kirtanam of the Lord, all the things can be achieved, they don't have to follow the Vedic processes. Hearing, chanting is enough. So now there are varieties of devotees. Some devotees like Madhavendra Puri would say, please forgive my Sandhya Vandan. No. So here that verse you must have read in Bhagavad Gita. And there are devotees like Bhishma Dev who are thinking, I am a fallen person. No, and because of his humility, he chose the right time when Krishna was in front of his eyes. He calculated this Uttarayan, Dakshina and all these things, and then he left his body. So there may be some devotees like that also, and that mood is also acceptable. Then there are devotees like Prahlad Maharaj, whom Lord instructed that your 21 generations are delivered. And then after a few verses, Lord says, still do Shraddha ceremony for your father. Because you are a king, if you don't do Shraddha ceremony, rest of your praja will not do Shraddha ceremony. So then this Vedic tradition will be broken. So that's why different devotees may adopt different moods and accept different things. But we should have one faith that if you are doing Shravanam Kirtanam, everything will be taken. But we have to see the future generations and the climate around us, the culture around us, and then we should act accordingly.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, bro.
Prabhuji, can you throw some light on the refusal of the four Kumaras as against the refusal of the initial refusal of Priyavrat Maharaj? Because Priyavrat Maharaj, he was also like, no, I don't want to get into this whole family thing, because I mean that was also an instruction that he received from his father, and then his spiritual master also came and told him do it and all that. So how were those two situations different?
See, actually, that's why I would say there is a variety in bhakti. As far as Chatus Kumaras are concerned, actually speaking, even at that time, there was a need of increasing population. So, but Chatur Kumaras thought, I won't take burden of all these things. We just want to be like, no, not be entangled. We do not want to be entangled. And that's praiseworthy. Now for Priyavrat Maharaj, initially he was refusing because he had that Vairagya, really that Vairagya was there. But when Brahmaji came and instructed, Brahmaji said that there's no one to rule the world. So many people are suffering because of you. So don't think you will be entangled, because if you serve Krishna's purpose, you get blessed. And same thing happened with Priyavrat Maharaj. So he ruled in such a powerful way, and at a point of time, he started feeling that I am just like a monkey in the hands of my wife. She's making me dance here and there. But then he got Vairagya and he took one person again, got reinstated in his position and got deliverance. So that's why different devotees may take different actions, and all of them are considered perfect because ultimately all of them ended up in pleasing Krishna. All of them ended in pleasing Krishna. So that's why how much to practice and how much to preach. Preaching is an act of compassion. So that may be different for different devotees. See what to say of like, no, now I am also grasthar, I know we are grasthar like. Even brahmachari ashrams, devotees always have this dilemma, including GBCs. I'm talking about GBCs. They always have one dilemma. What is the dilemma? How much time we should give to others, how much time we should reserve for our own self. Because you can do anything. You can chant 64 rounds a day. You can chant 192 rounds a day. One can chant 64 rounds and read Bhagavatam for 8 hours a day and take rest for another 8 hours. One can just chant 16 rounds, read 1 hour of Bhagavatam, attend one program, and just preach for rest of the time. So there can be various permutations and combinations, and devotees may choose any of them and still get perfect. So even what to say of very old days, even among the disciples of Bhakti Saraswati, there were people like Krishnadas Babaji who would chant. Nobody saw him sleeping only. He would be always chanting. And there were devotees like Bon Maharaj who would wear coat and pant and go out and preach. So there were a lot of varieties. So among devotees also there are varieties are there. So how much to be compassionate, how much not to be compassionate, what to avoid, not avoid, there is a variety. Okay, Rasulullah.
Thank you, Prabhu.
See, one beauty of Krishna consciousness is that nobody will take your seat. For everyone, the seat is reserved. We have an individual rasa with Krishna that cannot be replaced by anyone else. And we can choose upon different ingredients of pure devotion service and include them in our own life. And generally speaking, it's like there has to be mutual dependence on each other, and then if one chooses one role, that's even better. So this last one, I think I discussed it before also here. That in the same family, Lord Chaitanya instructed Raghunandan Thakur that you worship deity, because he was known for his deity worship. He instructed Narhari Sarkar to stay back in Puri and practice full-time Krishna consciousness. And he instructed Mukund Sarkar, who had a very good governmental post, to continue his work and support the entire family, so that all the people can practice Krishna consciousness. So things are more interdependent. They are not like individual. Like among in the family also, now if wife says, no, morning time is time for no chanting Hare Krishna, I won't cook for you. The poor husband would go hungry in the office and his Krishna consciousness will end up in 2 days. So then wife has to either get up very early in the morning, or wife has to chant in the afternoon time. Especially I'm talking about the congregation devotees. So different sacrifices have to be made and different things have to be adjusted in such a way that now there is synergy. There is like all the people can practice Krishna consciousness together. In temples also, those are pujaris. So there are some pujaris who get up very early in the morning, like Janavas Pangadang who get up at 1 o'clock at night. Now Pangadang is not there, but both the brothers would get up. So they would chant 16 rounds before Mangal Arati and then 16 rounds with devotees. So they want to chant with devotees. So that is how they would do. And there are devotees who can't get up so early because of their health problems. So they do all their services, do Bhagavatam, and then they chant their rounds. Because everybody is like very rigid, then the temple cannot run. So time, place, circumstances, so everything has to be adjusted, and then we have to take a decision. Prabhupada himself would chant 8 rounds in the morning during his Grastha life, chant 4 rounds in the afternoon, and 4 rounds after coming from job. Because his businessmen have to get up very early in the morning. You have to open your store or meet different clients. So that was Prabhupada's schedule in those days. But later on, the Vanaprastha, very high standards. So time, place, circumstances. Okay, Rasula.
Thank you, Prabhu.
So sixth, on the refusal of the sons to obey the order of their father, there was much anger generated in the mind of Brahma. And being Parampita, he knew that he's a great grandsire of the entire universe. So he didn't express his anger, but somehow that anger went beyond control. And then came out Rudra from between the eyebrows. Yes, Vrathadarbu.
So reading this again, I have some doubt. So we are told that Brahma and Shivji are they are in charge of the modes of passion and ignorance respectively, but they are not affected by those modes. They are, and we get the example of jailer in the jail. So why is it that Brahmaji got affected by mode of passion and he is getting anger? So can you please explain, Troy? There is a disconnect here.
Yeah. Generally, they don't get overpowered by these modes, but sometimes, rarely, they may get overpowered by the modes. So the question is, how frequently? So great people may also commit some mistakes, but rarely. And when they commit mistakes, in due course of time, they recover. Like find Brahmaji. From his anger, who came out? Lord Shiva came out. Vaishnava Naam Yatha Sambhu. If we become angry, what will come out? Nothing will come out. Rather, if you become angry at a wrong place, someone's footwear may come out of his hand. It does. So, great personality, they really become angry. And when they become angry or lusty or do some mistakes, sometimes it is induced by Lord to teach a lesson to others. And sometimes they do become victim, but it's less frequently as compared to all of us. Yes. Thank you. So now we can read 7, 8, 9.
Although he tried to curb his anger, it came out from between his eyebrows, and a child mixed blue and red was immediately generated. After his birth, he began to cry, "O destiny maker, teacher of the universe, kindly designate my name and place." The all-powerful Brahma, who was born from the lotus flower, pacified the boy with gentle words, accepting his request, and said, "Do not cry. I shall certainly do as you desire."
So now when he tried to curb his anger, this child came out. And because he began to cry, that's why his name became Rudra. Rudra comes from the word Rudan. Rudan means crying. So Brahmaji said, don't cry, don't cry. So you want a place and a name, I'll give you. Don't cry. Please write 10th, 11th, 12th.
Thereafter, Brahma said, O chief of the demigods, you shall be called by the name Rudra by all people because you have so anxiously cried. 11. My dear boy, I have already selected the following places for your residence: the heart, the senses, the air of life, the sky, the air, the fire, the water, the earth, the sun, the moon, and austerity. 12th. Lord Brahma said, My dear boy Rudra, you have 11 other names: Manu, Manu, Mahinasa, Mahan, Shiva, Ritadvaja, Ugrareta, Bhava, Kal, Vamadeva, and Dhritavrata.
Thank you. So Brahmaji gave him different places, the heart. So whenever the sense gratification is impeded, or certain desire is impeded, we desire to do something and it is impeded, then anger appears in the heart. Similarly, anger may appear in senses, that eyes become red, No, fist becomes tight. You want to beat someone. And the color of the skin also changes. So in this way, it appears in the senses. Then air of life, as soon as we become angry, we breathe very heavily. So life years, they go very quickly up and down. That's why meditation works, because mind is connected to the ears in the body. So somebody calms down the air, then anger also subsides. Then it's there in the sky, in the air, the fire, the water, the earth, the sun, the moon. Moon is the representation of mind. And also it's there in austerity. So austerity without Krishna consciousness also leads to anger. It's like because one doesn't get a higher taste, one may become angry at other people who are enjoying sense gratification. It's like, I'll give one example for that. Like one boy, we were doing youth preaching, so one boy came. And then he was telling, Prabhuji, just see these boys are so degraded outside. They carry girls with them on the bike. And these girls embrace them so tightly. And they go out, they go in parties and they dance. They go in all different restaurants and they eat everything, all nonsense. They're so sinful, this, that. So when this preacher heard that, he said, okay, they may do all these things, but why are you disturbed by that? So the main thing is he's disturbed because he's not getting a opportunity to do all these things. because you came to Krishna consciousness and you can't do all these things which others are doing. That's why you're so frustrated. If you can see them how they're suffering, no, why will you become angry? So austerity without a higher taste leads to anger. But when one has a higher taste, आराधितो यदि हरि तपसा कथा के ना आराधितो यदि अति तपसा कथा अंतर बहिर यदि हरि तपसा कथा करे ना अंतर यदि हरि तपसा कथा के so आराधितो यदि हरि तपसा कथा के if you are worshipping Krishna, where is austerity? You are in so much bliss. ना आराधितो यदि हरि तपसा कथा के if you don't worship Krishna anyway, you don't follow any austerity. So where is austerity? Antas bari yadi hari tapsa katha ke. If Lord is inside and outside, you can see Lord everywhere. Where is tapasya? You are blissful with the Lord. And nantar yadi antas bari yadi hari tapsa katha ke. If you can't see Krishna anywhere, then you enjoy Sandhika devotion. Where is the austerity? So for a pure devotee, they don't see austerity anywhere. But if we practice austerity without higher taste, then it leads to anger also. And there are other names of anger, Manu, they are also, and they are also the names of Rudra. All these. And sometimes in rare cases, some living entities may get a possibility to become Rudra also. Like generally, living entities become Brahma. And very rarely when nobody is qualified in the universe, then a pure devotee or Supreme Lord himself may take the post of Brahma. Like Hanumanji is going to be next Brahma according to Madhva Sampradaya Acharyas. So it may be like that. Similarly, very rarely there may be a situation where a living entity may get an opportunity to become a Rudra. So there are many people who chant this mantra, Sivoham, Sivoham, I am Shiva, I am Shiva, I am Shiva. So if they have the strong desire, they have performed extraordinary austerities, accumulate extraordinary piety. So in rare situations, a living entity may get an opportunity to become Rudra, but not in gender. So now their wives are also discussed here. Please read 13th and 14th as well as 14th purport.
Hare Krishna. O Rudra, you also have 11 wives called Rudranis. and they are as follows: Dhriti, Rasala, Uma, Nyut, Sarpi, Ila, Ambika, Iravati, Swadha, and Diksha. Translation. 14 translation. My dear boy, you may now accept all the names and places designated for you and your different wives. And since you are now one of the masters of the living entities, you may increase the population on a large scale. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Brahma, as the father of Rudra, selected the wives of his son, his living places, and his names as well. It is natural that one should accept the wife selected by one's father, just as a son accepts given by the father, or as he accepts the property offered by the father. That is the general course in increasing the population of the world. On the other hand, the Kumaras did not accept the offering of their father because they were elevated far beyond the business of generating a great number of sons. As the son can refuse the order of the father for higher purposes, so the father can refuse to maintain his sons in increasing population because of higher purposes.
So, for higher purpose, lower purpose can be given out. So Prabhupada writes that in general, father accepts or he selects the wife for the sons, and if father tells to get married and son refuses, it's okay if it is done for purpose of serving Krishna. And similarly, now during the time of Prabhupada, not many Indian devotees were there. Otherwise, Prabhupada would have added some more line. What about devotees whose parents are not devotees, or parents want them to marry to non-devotees? So what about them? So now then different devotees have different opinions. So some devotees say, no, you should get just married to whatever is ordered by father. And some devotees say, no, you have to accept a wife who helps you in your Krishna consciousness. So the different devotees have different opinions. But main thing is, ultimate purpose has to be solved. That one has to become Krishna conscious. So there's another principle given by Prabhupada. So, but in general, in Vedic culture, in a Vedic realm, it's the father who naturally accepts the wife for a son. Really speaking, what happened is everything is connected. It's pretty connected. In the Vedic culture, if we find, except Sudras for the other three castes, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, in general, son would accept the same occupation as the father, in general. So, one can have one can accept another occupation also, but in general, they would accept. And the reason is because they are trained from childhood. Of course, main training was in Gurukul, but then those vrittis were there, especially when the Garbhadhan Samskar is followed. So then let us say in a businessman family or in a Kshatriya family. So financially also son is dependent on the father. Son would continue the business of the father, or son would continue the kingdom of the father. Or as a Brahmana also, son would carry out the family traditions of different families which were taken care by father earlier. So there was generally a Vedic tradition, although one has to be qualified for that. So when one is financially dependent, then people naturally accept the orders of father also. And also the marriage would take place at pretty early age, except for Brahmanas. Brahmanas would take a lot of time for reading all the 4 Vedas. So they would get married at 35, 36, like that. Sometimes, not always. And I won't say sometimes also, it's like generally, because they had to spend a lot of time in Gurukul. But for those who are Vaisyas and Kshatriyas, they would get married early. So they need experience. And they generally, kids don't have so much experience. So especially when people get married at 15, 60, 20, 21. So it's father who selects the wife for the son because he has that experience. So that was natural Vedic tradition. But nowadays it's like people get married at 30, 35, and especially in the West. Ras Vilas, bro, what is the average age in which Americans get married?
I think nowadays it's much higher. It should be about 30. That's what I think is happening nowadays.
Yeah, 13, sometimes 40 also. US, it's like I've asked many dudes, it's like they're joining Brahmacharya ashram at 45. I said 45. What to do, Prabhu? I just forgot to get married.
Prabhuji, they do get married at 40, but that's their 4th or 5th wedding.
Okay. Okay. So we'll not comment on that. But the whole point is that the different type of culture is there. So generally, Vedic culture was very tight in terms of preserving the families. So children were financially dependent on the father. They have to follow the order, and they would get married at very early age. Sometimes at 17, 18, 20, like that, which is not allowed by the modern governments nowadays. And other thing is that so they were not experienced people, so they need experience of the father. They need experience for the father. Same case is the true with the girls also. So Manu says very clearly that girls should get married at 12, 14, like that, and the age ratio, all these things are given by Manu. But then he says girl has become 20, 21 years old, and father is not able to get a good husband for the girl, girl can get any man and get married. So many people, they burn Manu Samhita saying it's useless, but they don't go in details. If you really go in details, we'll find that Manu Samhita quite a lot takes care of the psychology of people. So if you fully follow it, then accidents will not become zero, or not zero, but they'll be minimized. The culture can be followed very nicely. So let us come back. So Prabhupada had a tough time to deal with the non-Vedic culture. And that is the reason Prabhupada said that my 50% work is still remaining. So the whole problem was non-culture. There were some letters which Prabhupada got, we can't publish them. So devotees who read them, they said, no, it's not possible to publish all those letters. But such terrible troubles were there because devotees were so away from Vedic tradition. Okay, so now we can read 15, 16, 17.
Text 15. The most powerful Rudra, whose bodily color was blue mixed with red, created many offspring exactly resembling him in features, strength, and furious nature. Text 16. The sons and grandsons generated by Rudra were unlimited in number, and when they assembled together, they attempted to devour the entire universe. When Brahma, the father of the living entities, saw this, he became afraid of the situation. Text 17. Brahma told Rudra, O best among the demigods, there is no need for you to generate living entities of this nature. They have begun to devastate everything on all sides with the fiery flames from their eyes, and they have been attacked. They have even attacked me. Hare Krishna.
So this is about Rudra, who had blue mixed and with red. Blue generally signifies mode of ignorance, and red signifies passion. So they're filled with passion and ignorance, and because they were created large in numbers, they were practically devouring the entire universe. So then Brahmaji thought, creation has to begin. I was generating population so that population may increase, and these fellows, before the creation has begun, they are destroying everything. So then they said, don't generate more progeny. It's a dangerous progeny. So they have eyes filled with fiery flames, are burning everything and want to serve everything. They have attacked me also. So it's like, people, nowadays it's very famous where people are attracted to the same gender. So that was like the beginning of that. So when people are very degraded, then also sort of those tendencies also come. Then he says, don't beget me.
That is also mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, right, Prabhuji? When Brahma created Asuras, they came towards Brahma, attracted towards Brahma. And Prabhupada says that time also means that was there, the attracting towards the same gender attraction.
Actually, uh, living entities, whatever types of desires they have, different types of bodies are there for all of them. So Lord doesn't leave a single desire of a living entity which cannot be fulfilled. So he creates all sort of species, all sort of planets, everything. Everything. Yes, Brother Darko?
Guruji, can you please clarify this Rudra? Is this was the same as Lord Shiva, who married Parvati and has Ganesha as his child, or is different, Guruji?
So that's why I was telling. It's like in general, they are like expansions of Sambhu Tattva only, but some of them may be Jeev Tattva. So we had discussed this before also, no? That exceptionally someone may be Jeev Tattva also, Rudras. But in general, there are Sambhu Tattvas.
So, Guruji, where is Lord Shiva here? I mean, is he among the 11 Rudras? Is he this Rudra or is he somewhere else, Guruji?
Okay, like Uma, Ambika, these are name of Parvati only, as far as I understand. Uma is there, Ambika is there. Similarly, Shiva is here. Shiva, Arita Dhaja. Shiva is mentioned here. And these are like expansions. It's like great personalities can expand in different forms also. Like yogis can expand. Similarly, personalities like Shiva can also expand. So you'll find Shiva is not in just one place and many places. So there is one Shiva who's untouched by the material nature, or before that, that's called Sadasiva, who is the guard of the spiritual world. Then there is Sambhu Tattva with 55 qualities in the form of time factor. Then there is Shiva who stays at Kailas. There is Shiva who stays at Sutal Loka. So this way different expansions are there of the Lord Shiva. It's not just one. So Sambhu Tattva is like Devi also, Kali expands unlimitedly. Similarly, Shiva also expands like anything. So now Brahmaji says, don't create. Creation has not started and you start destruction. 18, 90, 20, 70, 20.
My dear son, you had better situate yourself in penance, which is auspicious for all living entities, and which will bring all benediction upon you. By penance only shall you be able to create the universe as it was before. By penance only can one even approach the personality of Godhead, who is within the heart of every living entity and at the same time beyond the reach of all senses. Sri Maitreya said, thus, Rudra, having been ordered by Brahma, circumambulated his father, the master of the Vedas. Addressing him with words of assent, he entered the forest to perform austere penances.
This is a solution for people who have destruction in their nature. So even people who have destructive nature, they have some use at the right time. So when is his use? His use would be there at the end of the creation when destruction is required, or at the end of day of Brahma when the destruction is required. Then what to do for rest of the time? Perform penances, practice Krishna consciousness. So it's like we would fight in the companies also. There are some people, they do some work which nobody can do. And but they are not, it's like they don't have a regular work. So then they are kept in silence for some time or for a long time. And for a particular moment they are used. Brother Darpu, am I right?
Yes, Prabhuji. I think I am also one of them.
Okay, okay. So some people are experts at no certain things. So they are required at that time. Like you'll find in the machine also. So now certain tools, they are required for some small purpose only, but that is also needed. They have certain skills. Similarly, we find that Rudra also. So nobody is useless. Expert people know how to use right person at right time and right place. So Brahmaji's expert manager, he knows how to manage everything. So what he did is, he told Rudras that now you do penances, and whenever it is required, we'll call you. So they circumvented Brahma, and they started doing penances. That's what was happening in one of the temples, that a particular old lady was there, and sometimes because of old age or a culture or this and that, she had very sharp tongue. Sharp tongue means she would be known in all the services, and whoever would serve with her would end up in crying. So all the ladies had complained, no, this Mataji, she's like Yamraj. She's pure devotee, but like Yamraj. Yamraj also pure devotee, but too harsh. So then devotees tried to, like, tell her many times, and then after repeatedly telling her, they understood it's like she's an old woman, and now her nature can't change. You'll find some people have very strict nature. So little bit here and there also. So I still remember, no, it's like devotees are making garlands, and this complaint came actually. So one Mataji got some scratching because it was very hot room, not much facility for ventilation, etc. So she was sweating like anything. So she was about to scratch her neck, and then the in charge said, "No, Mataji, you can't touch your neck. You touch the neck, you'll get a sweat, and it would contaminate the garland." So then this lady started scratching like this, the way cows do. So the complaint came, this in charge is too harsh. No, she doesn't allow you to scratch yourself also, so that the deity's garlands are not contaminated. So bhava is good, but then some people are very strict. So then finally, because it became a big trouble for everyone, the GVC of the temple recommended her that, Mataji, you're too pure, and the best place for you to influence everyone on your purity is to go to Vrindavan and chant 64 rounds every day. But she was really obedient, and for rest of her life she was just chanting 64 rounds every day, staying in Vrindavan. So then, that's what I'm saying. Those are expert managers. They know what to do how to do right thing at the right time, or put right person at right place. So Brahmaji did that. And then we had other sons of Brahma. So we'll summarize them here only. Narada came from the best part of his body, that is the heart. So Narada is in charge of Bhakti Shakti of the Lord. Vasishtha came from breathing of Brahma. Daksha came from thumb of Brahma. Bhrigu came from touch of Brahma. Kritu came from hands of Brahma. Polas came from ears of Brahma. Angira came from mouth of Brahma. Atri came from eyes of Brahma. Marichi came from mind of Brahma. And Pula came from navel of Brahma. So by that we can understand that Brahma is not an ordinary person. So ordinary people, they beget children in ordinary ways. But Brahmaji is not like that. He was producing children in very extraordinary ways. from his breathing, from his hand and mouth and eyes. It's like unimaginable. Then religion came from the right breast of Brahma, where Paramatma is situated. Religion comes from the back of Brahma, from which death takes place. Lust and desire came from heart of Brahma. After Brahma's heart was like imbued with passion. Anger came from between eyebrows of Brahma. Greed came from lips of Brahma. And sometimes Indra is also said the personification of that. Then power of speaking, Vak came from mouth of Brahma, penis came from ocean. So from ocean came from penis, and low and above named activities came from anus. And Kardama came from shadow of Brahma. Amazing. So from a shadow also produced children. Kardama. Now we can read 21, 22 and the 22 purport.
Translation. Brahma, who was empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thought of generating living entities and begot 10 sons for the extension of the generations. Text 22 translation. Marichi, Atri, Angira, Pulasya, Pulaha, Kratu, Bhrigu, Vasishta, Daksha, and the 10th son Narada were thus born. Put by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. The whole process of the creation, maintenance, and dissolutions of the cosmic manifestation is meant to give the conditioned souls a chance to go back home, back to Godhead. Brahma created Rudra to help him in his creative endeavor, but from the very beginning, Rudra began to devour the whole creation, and thus he had to be stopped from such devastating activities. Brahma therefore created another set of good children who were mostly in favor of worldly fruitive activities. He knew very well, however, that without devotional service to the Lord, there is hardly any benefit for the conditioned souls, and therefore he at last created his worthy son Narada, who is the supreme spiritual master of all transcendentalists. Without devotional service to the Lord, one cannot make progress in any department of activity. Although the path of devotional service is always independent of anything material, only the transcendental loving service of the Lord can deliver the real goal of life, and thus the service rendered by Sriman Narad Muni is the highest among all the sons of Brahma.
So Prabhupada writes here that now Brahmaji was creating all these different children with a purpose of creation, and that purpose of creation is not like something material. So that was considered as spiritual. Why? Because all the conditioned living entities were eager to get bodies. So if one is facilitating them to get bodies, that facilitates the Lord's purpose of creation. But this is not the only purpose. The second purpose is also to help the living entities go back to Godhead. And that's why if somebody begets children with a purpose that I will help them go back to Godhead, so then such a begetting of children also becomes spiritual. It becomes pure devotion service. Because that's the purpose of creation of the Lord also. The dual purposes, one is to facilitate living entities to enjoy sense gratification, and second is to Can we read 23, 24, 25?
Narada was born from the deliberation of Brahma, which is the best part of the body. Vasishtha was born from his breathing, Daksha from a thumb, Bhrigu from his touch, and Kratu from his hand. Pulastya was generated from the ears, Angira from the mouth, Atri from the eyes, Marichi from the mind, and Pulaha from the navel of Brahma. Religion was manifested from the breast of Brahma, wherein is seated the Supreme Personality Body Narayan. And irreligion appeared from his back, where horrible death takes place for the living entity. Areshna.
We already discussed that. How different personality appeared from different bodies of Brahma. 26, 27 also.
Lust and desire became manifested from the heart of Brahma. Anger from between his eyebrows, greed from between his lips, the power of speaking from his mouth, the ocean from his penis, and low and abominable activities from his anus, the source of all sins. Sage Kardama, husband of the great Deva Huti, was manifested from the shadow of Brahma. Thus all became manifested from either the body or the mind of Brahma. Areshna.
So different personalities appeared from different places. Now the one of the controversial one. 28th, you can just read.
O Vidura, we have heard that Brahma had a daughter named Vak, who was born from his body and who attracted his mind towards sex, although she was not sexually inclined towards him. Purpose Divine Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Balwan Indriya Gramo Vidvamsam Api Karshati. Bhagavatam 9.19-17. It is said that the senses are so mad and strong that they can bewilder even the most sensible and learned man. Therefore, it is advised that one should not indulge in living alone, even with one's mother, sister, or daughter. Vidvamsam Api Karshati means that even the most learned also become victims of the sensuous urge. Maitreya hesitated to state this anomaly on the part of Brahma, who was sexually inclined to his own daughter, but still he mentioned it because sometimes it so happens, and the living example is Brahma himself. Although he is the primeval living being and the most learned within the whole universe. If Brahma could be a victim of the sexual urge, then what of others who are prone to so many mundane frailties? Uh, this extraordinary immorality on the part of Brahma was heard to have occurred in some particular kalpa, but it could not have happened in the kalpa in which Brahma heard directly from the Lord the four essential verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, because the Lord blessed Brahma after giving him lessons on the Bhagavatam that he would never be bewildered in any kalpa whatsoever. This indicates that before the hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam, he might have fallen a victim to such sensuality, but after hearing Srimad Bhagavatam directly from the Lord, there was no possibility of such failures. One should, however, take serious note of this incident. The human being is a social animal, and his unrestricted mixing with the fair sex leads to downfall. Such social freedom of man and women, especially among the younger section, is certainly a great stumbling block on the path of spiritual progress. Material bondage is due only to sexual bondage, and therefore unrestricted association of man and women is surely a great impediment. Maitreya cited this example on the part of Brahma just to bring to our notice this great danger. Areshna.
Thank you. So we'll maybe elaborately discuss about it in the next class. I'll just elaborate on one topic of this verse. That is, we have heard. So we have heard means this is not which Maitreya Muni was speaking from his heart. This is Maitreya Muni who wanted to just bring out some lesson, and that's why he wrote about that. Because great personalities also sometimes do some mistakes, but compared to their good work, such mistakes are minimized. Like, although the moon may have dark spots, but that doesn't minimize the light coming from the moon. So similarly, some great personalities may also do certain mistakes, but that is rare. So considering the amount of services that they have rendered, these mistakes should not be highlighted. And we'll find in due course that the sons of Marichi also, because they laughed, they had to become demons later on.
Guruji,
So that's why.
Guruji, can you explain what does we have heard mean again? We have heard, what does it signify?
It signifies Maitreya attitude that Maitreya Muni didn't like to speak about it. But because Vidura had asked a question, we'll see, if we see in the previous sections, Vidura asked this question about this. That's why he was speaking, first thing. Second thing is, this is not something which he wanted to highlight as such. That's why he said, we have heard from someone. So the lesson from the whole episode is that great personalities may sometimes do some small mistakes, and they should not be highlighted. These mistakes should not be highlighted. Because whenever we look at some person, we have to look that person's services and tenure of services in full. So somebody has rendered so much of service and he performs a little bit of mistake. Highlighting such mistake is not good. So that should not be like mentioned. So Maya is so powerful that even if great personality can fall victim at any time. Like Bilwa Mangal Thakur. When he was at the level of Bhav, that time he was attracted to the merchant's wife. So he ran behind the lady thinking she's Chintamani. And then he plucked off his eyes. So Chakravarti Pad writes there, the very fact he plucked off his eyes showed that he was not in bodily consciousness. A person in bodily consciousness can't do that. But even at the level of Bhav, one can temporarily become attracted by Maya because of some offenses he has committed to some devotee in the past. Aprarudha arthas are the ones which remain till the level of Prem also. Prem is till one sees Krishna face to face. Till then they remain. So that's why anybody can become victim at any time. So especially very great personalities who have rendered so much of services, highlighting their faults as if they are everything is very offensive. So that is exactly I would say, the explanation of we have heard. We have heard. So this is a lesson for us. And other things we'll discuss in the next class. Gandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Vancha Kalpataruvasya Kripasindhuvasya Pasitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnava.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Hare.
Dandavat pranams.